All right, welcome on into the podcast. I'm Brett.
I'm Dorian, and today on
You Heard with Nerds,
our show, we're going to be talking about DC's non-Comic-Con, the one that you can have from home, the whole movie theater situation, how they're going about reopening, when they're reopening, what movies are going to be out when they reopen, and a plethora of video game news. Like, we're talking like Pokemon, we're talking some PS5 stuff in there, Star Wars Squadron, but first thing up,
yeah,
we
got some movie stuff.
Yeah, we got Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. A little bit more news on that here and what that's going to be entailing.
Yeah, so before we get into it, make sure you guys subscribe, like the video. It helps us out a great deal. If you're on Apple Podcasts, subscribe as well.
Yeah, leave us a 5-star review.
Yeah.
I mean,
That'd help out.
Anyway,
so we got some nerd news. The last of the Guardians, so to speak. So James Gunn states that Volume 3 will probably be the last Guardians he directs in the final movie for the current team. Now, this makes sense, I think.
Sure.
You've had the same team essentially for 2.5 movies because you got the addition of Mantis in number 2.
Well, and that's not even...
And Yondu's, come and gone. And
right. Well, and that's not even including, like, Infinity War and Endgame and all that.
Oh, I know. Yeah, they've been in a lot of movies together. So I think it's just coming with this new regime,
right.
Coming in, a lot of the old characters are gone. We've got like a lot of, what I would call B characters kind of rising to A characters.
Sure, yeah.
So yeah, it makes sense. So who do you think's going to retire out of this and or die?
I think Drax is a very likely candidate just because Dave Bautista has said that he's not really eager to work with Disney anymore after the whole like James Gunn firing and rehiring drama here and all that. So I could see him being written out or, doing something along those lines. And also I would say maybe a little bit of an odd pick, but hear me out on this. Rocket, because this movie apparently is supposed to like dive more into Rocket's backstory, his past and all that. So I think if you were to like say, put him out to pasture or like, straight up kill him, I think, this would kind of be the way to do it, that fully round out his character or his character arc here.
Yeah, I can see Rocket dying probably the most out of anyone on the team.
Yeah.
I think really the only character who I think has to live is Peter Quill, a.k.a. Star-Lord.
Yeah, I think so too. I think also probably Gamora, just based on the fact that they killed her in Infinity War.
And they brought her back.
So, I mean, if they kill her again, it's kind of like...
Yeah, I don't think they'll kill her. I just think that I wouldn't even include her because she's going to be doing something completely different. Like, I think in this movie, I don't know if she'll be Team Guardians or if she'll be doing something else.
Well, I think one of the plot points of this movie has to probably revolve around the idea that they are trying to find Gamora.
Right.
And, like, basically kind of convince her that even though, like, she's never actually met the Guardians from this timeline and, like, had, like, all the interactions and adventures with them, that, hey, you're part of our team, basically, and, all this stuff. So,
yeah.
So, no, it'll be interesting.
The other question that you kind of posed, which I think is an interesting question, is will James Gunn flip to DC completely with the release of Suicide Squad coming? Because he's directing that, right?
Right. No, he is directing the Suicide Squad.
Sorry.
Yeah.
The Suicide... Yeah.
Yeah.
New movie that's coming out.
The new Suicide Squad movie that's coming out that is probably going to be better. So... yeah,
maybe.
I mean, jury's still out, but no, I think because there was like rumors that we were kind of seeing that a couple months back that James Gunn and J.J. Abrams essentially were going to be like the Kevin Feige's of DC, and they were going to be like the ones that were like pushing this new wave of like DC movies and like kind of like rebranding the DC universe, basically. So, I mean, the fact that he's saying like this will probably be my last one to direct, like meaning he has like really no plans to like be working with Marvel again. I think that does open up the door for this rumor that was going around to be true. And I mean, obviously, like we've seen, J.J. Abrams' company is going to be making like the Justice League Dark movie / TV show.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I could see it potentially panning out. I think there's definitely conversations that are happening. So, yeah. No, what do you think?
So I wrote this and then I was rethinking. I said I doubt it unless he's able to revitalize the DCEU, which from hearing you out, it sounds like that's what he's getting hired for.
I think so, yeah.
So, and with, I mean, he was kind of hosed by Marvel.
Yeah.
And so why not just finish the movie you're working on and move on, you know?
Yeah.
You've made enough money. You've got that Marvel money, you know, DC's going to, and Warner Bros. Is going to pay you more than enough if it's a money thing. But also getting the, you know, the challenge of creating a whole new universe, basically.
Yeah, being responsible from, like, essentially kind of making something from, like, halfway the ground up here, you know?
Yeah, I would say the DCEU is about 65% there.
Something like that.
You know, I think there's about a 35 to 40% that's just kind of missing. There isn't that connective flow that Marvel has and that tone that continues throughout most movies.
Well, yeah.
You know, that's, I think, what they have to nail. Like, you see it in Marvel, you see
like,
each movie can be different, but they kind of have the same tone.
They do. Like, Doctor Strange and, like, Iron Man, they, like, you know, two very different movies handle different characters, different, like, you know, types of things. One's, you know, more technology based and kind of sci-fi based. One's more like magical and mystical and stuff like that.
Right.
But they have like the same like tone that can connect them. It's not like you're taking like, you know, say for example, like Netflix's Daredevil or Punisher's or Netflix's Punisher and like saying, oh yeah, no, these guys can hang out with like, you know, the jokey like Spider-Man character that we already got going on here, you know, it's like, no.
Yeah. Well, that's even like movie to movie for DC right now. I would say they're trying to match tone, but you have something, I'm not even going to count the Justice League movies or anything like that, but you know, you have something that's probably more serious like Wonder Woman, and then you also have
something more like
Shazam, but then you have Aquaman that's kind of in the middle that doesn't really know what it is. It's like serious, but also trying to be funny.
Yeah. I mean,
I think if they lean into, I think Shazam is kind of the route they should go.
I mean, you know, and that's the thing is like, I don't want necessarily there to be like, I mean, here's the thing. I want DC to actually do better and like, you know, have like more success the way Marvel has. I don't necessarily.
I mean, they have better characters. I mean, in my opinion.
I would say in a certain respect, maybe. I mean, I don't know. I'd really have to think on that one here to know whether or not I agree with you on that. But I think basically what they need to do is, at least what I want to see, I don't know whether or not this is going to be like, you know, actual recipe for success or something like that. But I don't necessarily want them to copy Marvel per se. I want them to like, you know, find success on their own terms. But don't necessarily like, you know, not look at what Marvel's doing, you know?
Well, because they nailed it.
Right. No, like take the formula, tweak it a little bit, but don't just make it like almost like a copy paste Marvel. Because I mean, every DC movie going forward is going to be essentially Shazam, because Shazam feels like the most like Marvel movie that I've seen from DC.
I would say it's closer, but it's not necessarily the same tone.
Not necessarily the same tone, but that's like the closest one that I felt like. And so it's like, even though like, okay, yeah, you'll make solid movies out of it. I feel like if you try to do that with like all the other characters here, maybe it might not work out so well, because I think like, you know, Shazam really lends itself to that tone.
It kind of has to, because he's a kid.
Exactly, yeah.
But I think that's probably one of the best DC movies that's come out in a long time.
No, I would say probably the DCEU's best movie. I would say just solely based on like quality alone here. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, so let's continue that talk and talk about DC fandom.
Yeah,
Fandome.
Yeah. So, yeah, no. So basically, in Comic-Con's absence, because, you know, coronavirus ruins everything.
More on that later.
Yeah, more on that later. Basically, DC, in lieu of having a Comic-Con, is going to have a 24-hour 24-hour virtual fan experience. And so...
Who's going to be up for 24 hours watching this crap?
Have you seen some of these guys? Like,
that's true.
I mean, come on. Like, we got people who will, like, stay up, like, for video game releases, play it to like.
I mean, I've done that.
Yeah,
but
no, I've done that too. So I mean, no, I think you'll get people who will like tune in and stuff like that. But
all right, so what panels are they going to have?
So right now, what they're talking about is they're having a panel for Wonder Woman 1984.
Cool.
The Batman,
Of course.
the Suicide Squad,
Meh.
Black Adam.
Black Adam's coming in 2030.
Yeah, at this rate.
Like, didn't they like honestly tease that 10 years ago? Like, it feels like forever
2014
ago.
or something like that. But then then I think like The Rock made like an official announcement like last year saying like, yes, we are actually moving forward, and you kind of have to. I feel like now because they made Shazam, and now it's it's actually starting to happen here. You're actually using characters from that universe here, and you're actually getting the momentum going here. So
yeah,
if they're going to make a Black Adam movie, now's the time to do it. So, and then the fabled Snyder Cut.
Why does that one get one? I don't get that.
I don't know.
Apparently, they released some footage or test footage of Darkseid. Did you see that?
Yeah, it was like a little clip of like, and it does not look completely finished here.
It's probably not, yeah.
Because it's very blurry in terms of like CGI, but it basically kind of like was kind of echoing like what Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor said at the end of BVS, saying like, the bell has been unrung and he's heard it. Like, we don't have like any God, like speaking of Superman, to protect us anymore here, and he's coming, and basically kind of foreshadowing like Darkseid more or less.
Okay.
Here. So I mean, kind of a little bit of a cool idea, but I mean, again, it's like you're literally bringing out Thanos for like your fourth movie in the franchise, like. Like, what movie did Marvel have to get up to like start bringing Thanos into the mold? It's like...
I know. I think Marvel's the exception, though, because they had such good villain. I think they had, well, not such good, but decent villains until then.
Yeah.
Where DC kind of was like, I don't think they were thinking on the scope that Marvel was.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, yeah, they were just chasing after like that
Marvel money.
Well, yeah, the Marvel money essentially, but... Yeah, so the event is going to be taking place on, August 22nd. So
they got a while.
A little later than I feel like most Comic-Cons usually do. Like
summer,
but
June is usually, I think, the time for it.
I want to say maybe July is like what I feel like most Comic-Cons usually do. I don't know. Yeah,
I think it depends because you have New York, which is way later.
Well, mostly just because like
San Diego's June, isn't it?
No, I want to say that's July because usually correct me if I'm wrong, leave it in the comments if I am, but E3 is typically like beginning of June, and then usually a month after, like when they're out of their way, then Comic-Con happens in July. I think I feel like that's typically the format. I could be mistaken, but no, I mean, I'm glad to see that we are getting something. Even though like, yeah, this is kind of weird, we're going to have like virtual panels that you can like, essentially put on your VR headset and like pretend like you're actually there. I mean, granted, the lack of body odor, like, in those panels and all that. And that's a plus. But that being said, it's like, yeah, I mean, I don't know, it's still kind of a weird idea instead of just like, I don't know, just releasing stuff or like, just having one thing or another thing. But my hope is we finally get that Arkham game that's been like teased for like the last couple of months actually gets unveiled, and we get like a release date or something, like actual trailer, something, because this is like taking so long for this thing to be revealed. Everybody knows it exists.
Yeah.
What's the point?
Maybe they got nothing to show yet.
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, for me, I guess this is all okay. It'd be cool to get more Batman info, I guess. But what I'm guessing is going to happen, they're going to release a full-length trailer for Batman.
I don't know about full-length because like how far were they into shooting? Like before they had to like shut down production.
I don't know, but you don't need a whole lot of footage to do a full-length trailer.
Right, but I felt like you'd only be able to pull from like a couple of scenes maybe here.
I don't know. I know they're starting to film again, so we'll see. But this is, 2 months away. Maybe not a full length, but probably like a minute trailer,
like a teaser or something. Or like,
well, we already got the teaser of teasers, but
well, sure, yeah.
We'll see what we get. I'm hoping. Well, did Suicide Squad go into production?
I'm pretty sure they did.
We'll probably get a teaser from them as well. I'm guessing maybe another trailer for Wonder Woman since they're pushing that back.
Yeah.
But
spoilers.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I care too much, honestly, about what they're doing.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's really going to come down to like, what's actually being shown because I mean, obviously we know it's, I mean, the stuff that we know of, yeah, sure, it's a known quantity and we just need to know like, okay, like does this movie look like it's going to be shaping up to be good or is it just going to be just kind of meh? So, I mean, I think, what'll be interesting is like maybe the stuff we don't know about here.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like where I think
surprises,
I think that's where like they have the potential to wow us here, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so AMC is reopening, and so are all other theaters, it seems like.
Yeah.
This is coming mid-July. AMC is specifically saying July 15th.
Right.
Which would be the day before Tenet is supposed to release.
Supposed to. More on that.
They won't require people to wear a mask in some areas, and they will have limited seating. To be honest, you probably if you're limited in seating to where it's like unless you're in the same household or you have to sit so many places away, you don't need masks, but
sure.
Regal and Cinemark are also slated to open mid-July.
Yeah.
Which is good news for everyone.
No, it is. And I mean,
let's see how long they could stay afloat before they close again.
Right. No, I mean, who knows what things are going to be looking like when it comes to the second wave.
Not even that. I'm talking about financially.
Yeah, very true. That being said, I mean, yeah, so Mulan is going to be coming out July 24th, I want to say.
I don't know.
So that's going to be the first
big movie.
Major release. So, yeah, but in related news about like the whole movie theaters reopening and all that business, the Tenet, which would have been the first major movie to come out,
is delayed.
Only about a little bit. So
yeah, I don't get it, but
but in lieu of the Tenet, being delayed, they are re-releasing Inception for like its 10th anniversary, which okay, that's pretty cool, I guess, or but basically. The story goes, Warner Brothers actually wanted the Tenet to be pushed back even further, like probably thinking like maybe fall or like in the wintertime or something like that. Christopher Nolan said, nope, I'm Christopher Nolan. I'm a genius. I know what I'm talking about. You're not going to do that. And so I guess it kind of came to a little bit of a compromise and pushed it back like about 15 days or something.
Yeah,
like that.
2 weeks.
Yeah. So
screw Warner Brothers.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. I mean, okay, screw. I don't know if that's the actual. Who are they going through? Is it? It's not Warner Bros.
It is.
Okay.
It's Warner Brothers. Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, them and then meddling in like Wonder Woman and stuff, and now it's delayed even later. Doesn't make any sense to me since it's going to be in August. But
right.
Well,
right, because I mean,
initially, it would have been cool for this to be the movie to kick off going back to movie theaters.
It would have been, yeah. But
regardless if it's a limited seating or not,
or
just to see it in that atmosphere,
Right. Well, and not to mention, too, is like, there's like the whole idea of like, you could have like multiple theaters playing these movies just because there's not like really a ton
there's
of
nothing going on. Put it in every theater.
Exactly, yeah. It's just Mulan and the Tenet.
I bet you that's what they're going to do is have two movies playing and then
it's like
you get a row to yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever it is.
I mean,
I'm willing to do that.
Actually sounds kind of nice here,
Yeah.
But
that's what I'm saying. That and going to Disney right now sounds great.
Yeah.
Because Disney's going to be limited as well.
Yep. But no, so I mean, with this whole bless you.
Thank you.
So with this whole thing here is like, this is going to be Wonder Woman's fourth release date that they made.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going for that new Mutants record basically here. Like just
that movie's not coming out.
Yeah. Which I mean, that's supposed to come out in August too.
It's not.
No, so essentially what's going on here is like I just don't understand where Warner Brothers is thinking is at, because here's the thing. There's talk about the second wave of coronavirus happening, second wave of shutdowns and all that. If that is true and you have like a clear road,
which is probably not, like we don't know. Like there's no way of knowing.
We don't know, but if you were to put like, place all your chips on one area or another, I would assume you would want to do it when like it's in the summer, when the virus has the best chance of like, dying down or like kind of getting settled before that second wave hits here, because that second wave hits and like, everybody has to like go into lockdown mode, so to speak. If that does happen, it's like, okay, well now we got to wait again. And we just have this thing that's not making us any money here,
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't understand the decision on Warner Brothers' part to delay Wonder Woman even further. Granted, I'm not super excited about that movie, but it's like, what's the point?
Yeah.
I just don't understand the logic behind it.
I don't know either. What I could see is DC just owning October. Well, not anymore, because Batman's not shooting, because it was originally supposed to release in October, right?
Well, no.
Next year, I guess.
Next year in June, but
maybe they're just trying to overtake that month. Maybe that's their.
Well, but then you're also running into like I think Black Widow roughly around the same time.
Who wants to see that movie?
Well, the
my wife.
Boys. Yep.
That's it.
Just Brett's wife, everybody. Just going to be the only person in the theater for Black Widow.
Well, I mean, any movie that comes out in the near future is going to get way more attention than any other movie. Like, if you put Black Widow up against any other Marvel movie, no one's going to see it.
Probably not, no. But, I mean...
Unless, yeah.
I mean, if you're going to give me the choice between, like, Black Widow and Endgame, I'm going to see Endgame here.
Or Black Widow and Spider-Man.
Sure.
Spider-Man.
But that being said, it's no, I think it's just a matter of, why wouldn't you go and do this when the playing field is clear?
Your lane is open, people. Your lane is open.
I mean, there is an opportunity here,
There is, yeah.
But
that's why Mulan's going to make all that money.
Oh, Milan's definitely going to make a lot of money. And, I think the Tenet should probably make a lot of money as well.
Yeah.
So... anyhow.
All right, so we're going to talk about some Disney Plus stuff, and then we're going to head into some video games. But that being, Kenobi is taking notes from Mandalorian, meaning, so I don't know if anyone knows, or I mean, a lot of people are starting to know this because of Gallery, but Jon Favreau and company kind of designed this new technology for shooting on sound stages, and it's not green screen. It's basically like an interactive screen.
Yeah.
That can create the shadows, can create everything to make it feel like you're actually on that set.
Right.
And so they're going to be using this for Kenobi, which in my head, I'm like, well, duh, they created this technology. Sure. They should use it.
Yeah.
Because Ewan McGregor probably 90% of the time was shooting on a green screen or a blue screen or whatever it is.
He absolutely said it was. And he said, like, yeah, when they were shooting the prequels, it was hard for him to, like, really kind of grasp what was going on just because you're interacting with things that aren't there. You have no idea what's going on here. Whereas, like, now there's, like, a little bit more feedback that you can get from, what like the actor should be doing, how they should be interacting, and not like, ruining like a CGI shot or like, kind of like acting like it's actually there. But yeah, I mean, I'm actually excited about this news just because I do like the tone and like the technology and like how the feel of the Mandalorian here, just because it feels like the natural progression of like what the original trilogy was here. So I think if you're making like all your future Star Wars projects like this, I'm game. I'm in.
Yeah, I think it's just, after watching all these gallery episodes, it really makes you wonder what else they could do. Because I mean, they're rendering stuff and throwing stuff in there, and it looks amazing. And so
yeah.
I don't know. I don't see a reason for them not using this technology for every project they have going forward.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not here, unless like it's just like a budgetary thing or something. But
Which this makes more sense from a budgetary standpoint than it does going on location, you know?
No, it does.
Anyway, all right, so let's talk about some gaming news.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk 2077 is delayed.
Yeah, so CD Projekt Red, the guys who are making the game and also the guys behind The Witcher, basically, they said all the actual content, like, you know, the missions, the story, like the world, and
it's all there, right?
All the nitty gritty stuff is done. Basically, what they're doing is they're just focusing on like balancing things, fixing bugs, stuff like that here. Which, you know, this was originally supposed to come out like September or sometime, and so
yeah, something like that.
So apparently they are needing like, you know, the extra 2 months, which. Probably understandable. I mean, this game I think is going to be huge.
Yeah.
And like it's going to be really densely packed just from what I saw from like the E3 demos and all that. No, I think I'm still interested to play this game. And it's going to be interesting to see like essentially a last gen game launch essentially side by side with, you know, Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5, even though this was like made for Xbox One and PlayStation 4. Now, obviously, these new consoles will play Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah.
But I think it's also kind of like one of those weird things where it's like, okay, well, you know, it's like, it's kind of like weird just to have like something that's last gen on, you know, the next gen, I guess. I don't know. It's got.
No, I mean,
it's
not really.
It's a little bit of a weird dichotomy because, I mean, like last gen, you know, we had like, you know, last gen games come to like PlayStation and all that, but they were like, you know, optimized a little bit. Like, you know, you had like longer draw distance, less pop-ins and stuff like that here. But I don't know. I mean,
there were definitely some games that were no different than the last gen that were on the current gen.
No, for sure.
But with all the news that's going on with how they're how especially Xbox, no offense to PlayStation needs to figure this out, but Xbox, they're gonna have like basically a save state similar to like Steam or PC.
Yeah,
where you play on, you know, your last gen console, right? Let's say you got a last gen, you got this on last gen
right.
for Xbox at least,
and it carries over.
It carries over completely.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be no squabbles, I guess, with the people playing Xbox, but for PlayStation, that's not necessarily the case. I can see this releasing on both simultaneously.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, but they've said that they're not having like a like, you know, PS5 or a Xbox Series X version of this game. They're just
it'll just carry over to your other console.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
I don't know if it makes sense. I think a lot of these are probably you're at the height of these last gen, which a lot of the times is really, really close to the beginning of the next gen.
Right. Well, yeah, because I mean, typically you don't really get to see what like a console generation does until like you're a few years in. And that way, like, you know, people can start learning the tech and start learning, you know, how things like work and how to optimize stuff here better. So yeah.
I mean, I'll probably rent it.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen enough of the game to like have like an opinion, to be honest.
Sure. No, I mean, I get that. I mean, there are like, I mean, my personal feelings on it is like, you know, there's like demos and trailers that people like talk about like, oh, I was blown away by this. I'm just like, okay, well, I'm like, I mean, it looks cool.
It does look good.
Yeah.
Keanu looks cool.
Keanu looks cool. Yeah. I mean, it's got Keanu in it here, but, no, but it's like, okay, you know, you're saying all these things about like, you know, how you essentially like all your actions, all the things that you do in this world are essentially going to be determined by you, and like you are going to affect how things happen here. So it's like you can do missions how you want. You can literally fail missions, and then that will just play into like, you know, consequences of like a different story.
It sounds cool.
Which sounds cool, but I've heard that promise a lot of times before. So until like I actually see like, you know, that actually realized in real time here, where like, okay, yeah, like I am actually affecting the world dynamically altogether here, and I'm actually affecting it like, you know, through like gameplay choices I make and all that, actually, you know, living up to that promise, as opposed to just like, you know, maybe just only having like one character say some lines of dialogues or like a couple extra lines of dialogue saying like, why'd you do that here or something like that. It's like, because that's typically what we get when people say like, oh yeah, your choices are going to completely change like how you play the game. It's like,
no, I've never seen that.
Not really, no.
Anyway, all right, well, moving on, we have some, there was a bunch of Pokemon stuff that came out over this last week. One being, they didn't have a release date for the DLC, and they dropped it basically. They're like, hey, the DLC's out. Pokemon had this big announcement.
Yeah.
And the DLC came out then. Have you
had a chance to play any of it?
I haven't bought it yet.
Okay.
I've heard it's okay.
Okay.
There's a lot of cool features that they didn't talk about that are in it. Like, so in like Heart Gold and Soul Silver, you had like, and in Gold and Silver, the original versions, you had your Pokemon follow you.
Yeah.
You're like your first one in your lineup, and that's a thing.
Okay, that's kind of cool. Kind of like how they were doing with, what was it? Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, I mean, that's kind of cool, I guess. Yeah. I heard that there's like a lot of busy work for some of the missions that you do in the new DLC, which is unfortunate.
Very grindy.
Obviously, it introduces like 100 and something new Pokemon. Not new, but old Pokemon returning.
Sure.
There is a new Pokemon Kubfu who looks really cool.
Yeah.
You basically choose one of two dojos to go train with and do missions for. And that determines how that Pokemon evolves.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll probably get it here in the next couple weeks and kind of give maybe my thoughts on it. But then they had Pokemon Cafe, which is like a puzzle game. Okay. It looked interesting. It looked like almost like those games where the colors or shapes fall into, and then you have to like click on them and it
like
deletes
Bejeweled,
them.
Basically.
Kinda, but it was also like a circle. It was really weird how it worked. And then they released a new Pokemon Snap's coming out, which that hasn't come out since the Nintendo 64.
Yeah. Well, I was really surprised that now of all times they decided to do like a Pokemon Snap, because like the Wii U would have been perfect for Pokemon Snap.
Yeah. I don't know why. I mean, it's cool because think about it this way. This was, I don't think, ever a game that was super popular, but popular enough to obviously have them do a new one. And the people that played this are our age and probably have kids that want to play something like this.
No, I mean, I've heard of people like, who were fans of Pokemon Snap. I mean, basically want a new one for, a good amount of time, and now they're getting it here apparently. So I mean, that's cool, I guess.
Yeah. All right, so we got a new game coming out called Rocket Arena.
Yeah, pretty soon actually.
Yeah, a couple like a month and a half, something like that.
Yeah.
So in the trailer, to give you guys kind of an idea, if you haven't seen the trailer, it says think Smash Bros, but a third-person FPS, meaning.
Yeah, I would say that is accurate.
Like you don't have a health bar or anything like that. As the more you hit someone, the higher their rate of getting thrown off the map is.
Right. Basically, what it is you guys are in arenas. Everybody has a rocket launcher, and so like typically, like in a first-person shooter or whatever, you're gonna get, if you get hit by an explosion or a rocket, that kind of does splash damage or like kind of gives you like a push effect from the blast radius here, and so it's kind of like a. I'm trying to think of the specific name for it, but like in Overwatch, when Pharah has like that pushback rocket that you can shoot at people and like, push them back or push them off the edge or something like that. That's basically the entire game, is like you're trying to push them off the entire edge here. So it's kind of a cool little neat twist to it.
Yeah. Excuse me. And it sounds like, so you're going to pick your hero kind of like similar to Overwatch or Valorant or something like that. And they're going to have different abilities and different rockets. So like think of the rockets on in terms of like a rocket from a game. There's gonna be people who are, it's more of like a shotgun style, more of like a like a sniper, all those different things. They're just using rockets as like their main driver. But anyway, it looks pretty cool. It looks pretty fun. I think is the biggest thing. It's 3v3. And there's different modes. So there's 4 different kinds of PvP modes. There's knockout, which is just deathmatch essentially. So try to knock out the other person. Rocket ball, where you're trying to get something in a goal basically. Treasure hunt, which you're trying to get to this treasure box in the middle, collect coins and stuff like that. And then you have Mega Rocket, which I can't remember what that one is actually now. I'm trying to think. I'm not really sure what Mega Rocket is, but anyway, so that's one of them. And then there's one PvE map, which it's like horde or minions. You're trying to take out waves of them with some buddies.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of cool.
So the game price is going to be $29.99 for the base game. And then you could do $39.99 for the premium version, which includes their battle pass.
Yeah.
So similar to Fortnite or Valorant or whatever. If you buy the battle pass,
you get like all the unlocks for that season or whatever it is here.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Which is interesting. I could understand if they did a free to play game and had a premium version, like that's $29 or $39.99.
Right. Yeah.
And it includes all that stuff. But I mean, you're going to pay for the game at $29.99 and probably want the battle pass anyway if you like the game. So why not get just the premium version?
Right. I mean, well, I'm sure there's probably like an opt-in measure to like just pay an extra
you'll just pay
$10.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because I mean, it's like if I'm not like fully in, I'm like I'll just try the base version, see if I like it enough, and then if I like it enough, then pay the extra $10 to buy the battle pass or something. But yeah, I mean, kind of a little bit of a odd concept, I guess. Because I mean, I think the reason why Fortnite, Valorant, and games like it get away with having a battle pass, so to speak, is because
they're free to play.
They're free. They don't charge you anything right then and there. Whereas this is something that's already charging you up front, but you're also saying hey, we also want you to pay this battle pass that you do for all these other free to play games. Now, granted, this game is going to be half the price of a full retail game.
Yeah.
Right? So I mean, I don't know. I mean,
yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. So I think Fortnite. So if you just want to play Battle Royale, for Fortnite it's free.
Yeah.
If you want the creative part of it, it costs money.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone who plays that.
Yeah. I don't know.
And so I can see this game. I don't know if they haven't released if there's a story version or if there's a what have you, but I'm way on board with the games. So a game I've been playing lately is Valorant. That's a PC game, but it's completely free to play.
Yeah.
You can, if you like what you're playing, you could pay as much money as you want to get all these cool skins and stuff.
Right. And
which are extremely overpriced.
Well, yeah. But
same thing for Fortnite. You pay your V-Bucks, you get, cool skins, but you're supporting the platform you're using.
Right. Exactly. And I mean, it's all purely cosmetic. It's not
there's no pay to win.
Exactly. Yeah.
So with that said, for $29.99,
I mean,
this could be a fun game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it'll be the next Fortnite, just because I think if you're going to be the next Fortnite or something like it, you have to be free, because kids love free games. If
kids spend a lot of money on free games, though.
Exactly.
It's a great model. I love the model of Fortnite. I love the model of Valorant. Mm-hmm. I can see this game in the future. If there's more updates coming, maybe they do drop to a free to play game,
right?
With premium content if it does take off.
Yeah,
to draw in more people. But I don't know. We'll see. I think it could be something like the next Fortnite, because we all thought Apex Legends was going to be the next Fortnite.
Which I mean,
it's not.
To be fair, it did take a chunk out of It did take a chunk out of not when you're fanfare here a little bit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, Fortnite had been out for how many years at that point?
Oh, probably maybe 2 years, roughly, somewhere around there. But I mean,
that's a feat in and of itself,
right?
Being that popular that long,
right? But even then, it's you have things like Call of Duty Warzone. That's also taken some of Fortnite stock for itself. I think ultimately Fortnite will have a successor at some point here, but
yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think this could be a hit with that demographic that Fortnite really hits. Is those younger kids?
Sure, yeah.
And I like the concept a lot. I think it's a creative, cool, different thing that we're not used to seeing.
No, I do too. I mean, I do like the concept. I think I don't. If this was free to play, I would be I'd be on it like just like that here, But
I mean, that's even like Ninjala comes out in less than a week,
Yeah.
which is going to be a free to play on the Switch.
yeah, so we'll give you an update on that probably next week here.
Yeah, but same model. I'm sure there's going to be cosmetic things or a battle pass or there has to be. Nintendo's just not going to put out a free game.
No.
That does not exist.
Yeah.
I was really surprised, honestly, that it was free to play.
Well, I mean, it's not Nintendo necessarily like doing it. It's a different company here. But
I know, but I feel like they could set that standard of, hey,
yeah,
anyway.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
All right, so a couple of months ago, or maybe a couple of weeks ago, I can't remember how long it's been, we talked about a leaked Star Wars game potentially.
Yeah.
Now, that has all been confirmed through what EA's little press conference they held. In
lieu of E3, essentially, yeah.
Yep, so we got Star Wars Squadrons coming pretty soon. I mean, this year, at least.
Yeah, October 2nd.
So this is going to be the spiritual successor to Rogue Squadron, which was on the Nintendo 64, I believe.
Yeah, and also I think they had like a game on GameCube as well here and all that, so... Yeah, no, really well-liked games, but I mean, this is essentially it's going to be essentially all dogfights or all ship-based or starship combat here. So, you got a first-person cockpit view, basically. It will have a story mode, and you can play a Empire storyline or you could play a Rebel storyline or both here, You could also play the whole game in VR, which...
That's kind of cool.
That'd be trippy.
I mean, I don't have VR.
Yeah, me neither.
Never will.
But, and so far, like, in terms of, like, competitive online modes, they have 2 modes announced, which is, like, Dogfight, 5v5, traditional kind of deathmatch. You shoot the most ships, you win, basically. And then Fleet Battle, where it's 5v5, but there's also, like, a bunch of AI ships, and you're taking down, like... it's kind of like almost like, just like a actual Star Wars battle where you're taking down like these larger ships from the enemy and all that. You're eventually working their way up to a flagship to take down like the big flagship, and whoever takes down the enemy's flagship first wins, basically. So
that's cool.
Yeah. So because this is an EA game, a lot of people have like, expectations on like, what EA will do in terms of like, how they price things or how they market things. Basically, there are no microtransactions in this game. It's going to be retailing for $39.99.
Too much money.
And it will support cross-platform.
That's cool. I just don't really like these games that much.
I mean, it's like I could see myself like enjoying it for a bit, but I don't know if I would like really get like super into it.
I'm more apt, as much as I like Star Wars, to buy something like Rocket Arena.
Sure, yeah.
Versus this game, just because that is gonna have way more longevity for me.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know. I mean, it looks promising. I will say that much. I liked what they showed. I don't know how much like I will be into it personally, but here's the thing: is like EA's been making good on like a lot of decisions lately. Here, they didn't nickel and dime you for Fallen Order. They made Apex Legends an actual good, battle royale without like trying to nickel and dime you there.
Yeah.
So I mean, if they continue this trend, then they'll be all right. But EA history has shown that they find a way to screw things up here and like piss people off on the games that they make.
Yeah, and speaking of Apex Legends, there is news now that it is coming to Switch.
Yeah, so that was one of the things that they announced in their
conference.
In their conference, yeah, whatever you want to call it. But basically, Apex Legends is coming to Switch. It's also coming to Steam as well, and all completely cross-platform support across all platforms.
I'm all about the cross-platforming.
It's the future, man.
Yeah, and this is all the more reason for me to cancel PSN. If Overwatch 2 comes out and it's cross-platform, I'm just not gonna have PlayStation.
I mean, hard to say. I mean,
I think it will be. I think Overwatch 2 will be cross-platform.
I could see it because, I mean, if you asked me, like, I don't know, like, even 10 years ago, like, hey, do you think cross-platform will be a thing? I'd be like, nah, man, they'll never
do it.
But it's happening, and it's happening more often than not. So I think, next gen is if a big multiplayer game that's available on like other platforms isn't going to be cross-platform, I think that's like going to be, it's going to be like laughed at because that's going to become the standard, I think.
Well, yeah, and think of, just for we have some friends that don't live around us, and so we have to play those cross-platform games because we all have different systems or...
Yeah, no, I mean, we got one guy who's a PC guy, we got one guy who's solely a Switch guy, and then,
we have both. We float between all three.
Yeah, exactly.
PlayStation and Nintendo and PC.
So, I mean, those cross-platform games, they're kind of a godsend right now here.
Yeah,
so.
Totally. All right, so Forbidden West details. So what's Forbidden West?
So the Horizon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so basically, we talked.
Oh yeah, I heard. Sorry, I'm now reading your notes.
So
pretty cool.
So we talked about kind of like our feelings on the whole PS5 reveal and all that.
Yeah.
And one of the games that we actually agreed on looked, pretty cool and we were kind of excited for was Horizon, which I don't understand why they didn't provide more details like during then. But I guess we're getting these details a week later. So they're aiming for a 2021 release date, which
makes sense.
Kind of called that. Like I was like, this is not coming out this year or not for the launch year. So probably towards the end of 2021, I would assume, just based on how much we've seen of that game before. That's kind of seems like the right time frame.
Yeah.
But one of the cool things that they said was, hopefully this pans out. No loading screens, like when you're actually, have the game fully, up and running.
Yeah.
So like fast travel will be seamless is what they're saying. And this is all thanks to like PlayStation 5's.
Do you just appear somewhere else or how does that work?
I guess, or like,
an animation happens?
Or like, it's just like, it fades to black and then immediately like fades back in or something like that here. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know, but so no loading screens. So I mean, that's a pretty cool idea. I don't know. I don't understand why they didn't include this in their whole press conference or whatever it was. Now, Brett, on that PlayStation 5 reveal, were there a couple pieces of or couple key pieces of information missing from that whole thing?
A couple key piece, like as far as like those two things, or for this game specifically?
For the PlayStation 5 itself.
Oh yeah, there's no price or anything. We don't know prices for anything right now.
Yeah, so no price,
Xbox or PlayStation.
No price, no release date. However, Amazon probably doing us a solid.
They're probably getting sued right now as we speak.
Possibly, who knows? I mean, this has happened like numerous times. I'm pretty sure Amazon has like a legal department that handles all this stuff. But basically, what's going on is there was a listing on Amazon, and it's been taken down since. So chances are there's probably some truth to
there's got to be
to like this listing here. But they listed November 20th, the release date for the PlayStation 5. Seems accurate.
Yep.
And then they also priced out how much this thing's going to cost. So they used I think it was like in pounds, like on the listing itself, but it got converted, and roughly in terms of like, the dollar, it'll be like about $4.50 for the digital version, and then it'll be $5.50 for the one that has the disc drive here. So
pretty expensive.
I mean, not like crazy in terms of like, I felt like, what people were expecting in terms of like where it was going, because PlayStation 4 retailed for like $400 here, so it wasn't going to be like any lower than $4. So, yeah. But anyhow, there you go. So you may actually know what all this information is actually being. No thanks to Sony.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is kind of what we're thinking as far as price goes, and the $50 to $100 between the two systems.
Yeah,
which you might as well get the $550 because that's a 4K player, all that stuff.
It's a 4K player. I mean, unless
still share games with people,
unless you're planning on just streaming like everything, like digitally. Which even then, like 4K streaming, unless you're living in an area that has like really, really good internet speeds and all that. Nah, that's not happening here. So yeah, I mean, it's, yeah, definitely expensive. Still probably just going to wait until like, a year after this thing comes out, Black Friday, get it $100 less. That's still the plan for me. I still haven't found a reason to pick this thing up day one.
Me either. I mean, especially at the 450 to 550 price point. Yeah. Here's the deal. We pay, $90 for games now, essentially.
I mean, it depends on
if it has one pass, one downloadable content pass, we're paying $90 per game.
Yeah.
That is insanity to me. So a lot of places will be like, yeah, we take a huge hit on our consoles. It's like, yeah, okay, but you're completely hosing us on your games. We're paying $90 per.
Yeah.
To me, it should be lower. It should be the 400 range at best.
Yeah, I mean, the only difference is, it depends on like which company is putting out the game, because like obviously like NetherRealm with like Mortal Kombat and all that.
Yeah.
Like there was like obviously a whole bunch of stuff with like, Mortal Kombat X in terms of like their fighter expansion pass that really didn't give you like a ton of new stuff in terms of, gave you new characters and whatnot, but in terms of like, like you're basically having them pay the price of like the base game for like less content here, and then I don't know if you've been keeping track of like Mortal Kombat 11 here, but
I have it, but I don't play it.
But the new expansion and like how they priced everything out, like literally did not make any sense here in terms of like how everything was like priced out and all that stuff. So
I'm even just thinking through Pokemon right now, just because that DLC dropped.
Yeah.
And it's $30 for the DLC, right?
Yeah.
And I think that includes it's both the DLCs that are coming out is $30, which is actually a decent price. But this could have easily been part of the game. That's what's the most frustrating, I think. Or
could have just been a free update or whatever.
Yeah, I think that's the most frustrating thing is their thing is well, you won't have to buy a third version because, Pokemon, the way it goes is it's
typically
the two versions come out at the same time, and then there's like an extended version with more Pokemon in the third version, which... Or
they do like Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Or, no.
But I just think that's kind of ridiculous, At that point, just give me a third game, because you're going to be paying.
Yeah,
it's not going to be as much content as a full game. It's just not.
No, it's. Ultimately, what it's coming down to is like some companies are better than others here. Like
totally.
Typically, I would say on average, like you could pay $60 for a game, and typically you get your money's worth out of it. Like, you pay $60 for Spider-Man, and like there's enough.
Oh yeah, that's
there's enough content. Pay $60 for Horizon, even though that game does have like like an expanded DLC or whatever.
I just paid like $20 for each of those.
Exactly, yeah, but you got those on sale. But
but
then you got like people like NetherRealm who will charge you a lot of money for like their expanded stuff, their Fighters Pass and all that, and you also got things like EA like. You remember the first Battlefront that they did?
Oh yeah,
where like
that was ridiculous.
They barely had like they barely gave you like any stuff and say, oh yeah, well you gotta buy the season pass that's like $50 here, and it'll come with the rest of the game. It's like, no, like why are we doing that?
Yeah, it was like like 3 maps or something like that in the regular version.
So it was definitely a small amount here.
Yeah.
So so it's. Ultimately, what games are going to come down to is like how much do you want to get out of it? Because obviously we got the free to play model, where technically, like if you're really, really into it, you could put in like a lot more money than like you would.
$60 that's what I'm saying is if you like the game, you have that ability to put money in.
Yeah, exactly. Like Overwatch, I'm pretty sure like I've put like more money than just like the initial $60, just because like there might be loot boxes and like skins I want to get like when events are going on here and all that.
Exactly.
But that being said, it's also a it's also a matter of, I think ultimately people just have to like choose like, okay, how invested do I want to get into this game? I mean, like Smash Brothers, yeah, I will put down, extra $25, $30, like once a year to get the new Fighters Pass, just because I love that game and, I want to be up to date on everything. But it's like, yeah, everybody else will look at it and be like, yeah, no, you're crazy. But
true.
Again, it's really ultimately, I mean, I know people like to complain a lot about like, season passes and all that. It's just like, you have to just understand like, okay, video games are getting more expensive to make. That's just the unfortunate truth of it. You have to choose like, how invested do you want to get in this game? Yeah, it'd be nice if we could go back to like the N64 days where you just pay one flat
$50,
$50, $60 or whatever, and then that's it. You don't have to like bother with anything.
40.
I don't remember. I think it was 50, but you don't have to bother with anything else here. And then, now it's different. And it's unfortunate, but that's just how it is here.
Yeah, well, that's enough of our ranting for today, I guess.
Yep.
Thank you guys for listening and watching. We greatly appreciate it. Check it out on our social media, our YouTube page. Subscribe, like all that good stuff. Tell a friend who tells a friend. And with that, have a good one. And remember, everyone's a nerd about something.
Everyone.